right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Hit by a stray bullet.
I never really thought something like this would happen.
Tonight, a woman recounts her frightening ride home and shares the painful reminder she must now live with.
Changing patterns, the wild swings we expect over the next 7 days, and why we expect to track springtime storms for parts of our region next week.
First tonight, parents pack a school board meeting in Wentzville amid allegations of retribution against district whistleblowers. More on that in a moment. First tonight, a Jefferson County family is thanking their neighbor for coming to their rescue. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. Thanks to his quick actions, he thwarted a home intruder. New tonight, Laura Barcheski talked with both the would-be victims and their neighborhood hero.
Mike and Kelly, it happened just about 2 weeks ago. The Miller family says they were extremely lucky their next-door neighbor heard the man trying to break into their home and was able to stop him.
DJ LeBrat says it was an average Tuesday night around 8:30 when he and his wife decided to go to bed early when suddenly he heard someone screaming.
I couldn't tell what he was saying, but I could tell it wasn't my neighbor.
LeBrat says he ran outside to check on his neighbors and saw a man behind their house.
And I was asking, hey, what's going on? What's happening? And they were screaming like, hey, some guy's trying to come inside, blah, 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 blah. And so that's when I knew something was way, way wrong at that point.
Jamie Miller says the man was banging on their back door trying to get in their house because he believes someone with a gun was chasing him.
We had like a patio table on the deck and he grabbed it and hit it against the sliding door. So then I'm really screaming at him like, stop, get out of here, you have to go.
She says that's when the man took off into LeBrat's yard where he confronted him. Meanwhile, she and her daughter Grace ran into LeBrat's house to call 911 and wait for police.
His wife took care of us. She was with Grace and keeping Grace calm.
LeBrat ended up having to draw his gun and fight the man off with a baseball bat.
And then we were going at it here, and then the cops came around the front yard, and when they came, I kind of backed off of them and let them kind of go.
After a bit more of a struggle, officers were able to arrest him. The Millers upgraded their security system after the incident, but are still feeling uneasy, saying Crystal City Police still haven't formally charged the man, and he's out there.
The couple times that we've called for an update, they just have said that they haven't finished writing their report yet.
Miller says their family is beyond thankful for LeBrat's quick actions and even rewarded him with a new bat after his was taken as evidence.
DJ just handled it all and just was really the hero of the night, so.
I reached out to Crystal City Police about the incident, but the officer I spoke with wasn't able to give me any of that information tonight, and I had to leave a message with the captain in charge, who still hasn't gotten back to me yet. We'll bring you updates as soon as we get them.
We're following a developing story tonight out of the Metro East. Right now, 52 homes in Swansea have been evacuated due to a suspicious odor in the air. The homes are in the area of North 16th Street. Officials tell us testing identified a potential hazard in the sewer line. Hazmat crews with St. Clair County EMS and Illinois EPA are conducting a controlled flush. They'll reassess the situation once that is completed.
A man charged in a homicide is dead after a standoff in St. Charles County. Police say Clyde Young shot his girlfriend last night after an argument outside a trucking company in Forestdale. She was found shot in the cab of a semi this morning. Police say Young called 911 and then asked to meet them at a gas station off Highway 67 in West Alton. When officers arrived, they say he refused to talk, threatened to hurt himself, and said he was armed.
Our officers were there at the area trying to negotiate with him for a peaceful surrender. The individual appeared to enter his vehicle. There were shots fired shortly thereafter.
Investigators are trying to figure out if an officer shot him or he shot himself. Police have not released the name of the woman who died.
A Florissant woman is recovering at home tonight, 4 days after being hit by a stray bullet in South St. Louis. That bullet is still lodged in her neck. Tonight, she's reliving her frightening ride home only with our Robert Townsend.
For several days now, 26-year-old Sabrina Thomas has been in a lot of pain, and it's no fault of her own.
Yeah, I never really thought something like this would happen.
Thomas told police around 9 Sunday night she and a friend rode down the 3300 block of Chippewa in South St. Louis when they heard 3 gunshots.
It sounded like fireworks, but I figured it probably wasn't that.
She was right. A fourth shot then rang out.
Surprisingly, I was kind of calm because I really didn't even realize it happened. And then I just called 911.
The fluorescent woman saw the rear passenger window of her friend's red Nissan was shattered.
I got a couple gashes from the glass.
2 car seats suddenly ripped, and a stray bullet hit Thomas in the back of her neck. Her puppy, Teddy, on her lap at the time.
Like my whole neck started to become really numb, and like it felt like it was pain going through the top of my head.
I was literally in shock.
Sabrina's uninjured friend drove to nearby Gravois Road, where they waited for police and paramedics. Paramedics brought Thomas here to St. Louis University Hospital for treatment. She tells me right now that bullet is still lodged in her neck. Doctors don't want to remove it because it's too close to her spine.
I think it's just so sad that you can't even go anywhere now.
As a result of the shooting, the young freelance model and private bartender now cannot work. She's relying on her family and faith to get through the uncertain time.
I think something really needs to be done. St. Louis is becoming a really violent place.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Thomas says she and her friend didn't see anyone or any cars near them when the gunshots rang out. St. Louis police ask anyone who may have witnessed anything regarding this shooting to call them.
A St. Louis man has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for a crash that killed 4 people in Midtown. Cedric Dixon pleaded guilty to 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, armed criminal action, and second-degree assault. Prosecutors say he ran a red light on South Grand last February and hit a Chevy Tahoe with 8 people inside. The impact caused the SUV to go over a guardrail and onto Forest Park Parkway below. 4 people died, 4 others were seriously hurt in the crash. Dixon drove off and turned himself into police 3 days later.
1 week from tomorrow, 5,000 union workers could walk off the job at Anheuser-Busch breweries across the country, including here in St. Louis. Tonight, the Teamsters are telling AB if they don't get the contract they want, there will be no beer come March 1st. They're demanding better pay, an increase in retirement benefits, and Juneteenth is a paid holiday. Anheuser-Busch has denied the union's claims that it has delayed negotiations and promises beer production will continue uninterrupted.
Tonight, service has been restored for AT&T wireless customers. A massive network outage this morning prevented many from making calls and sending texts or access the internet. The FCC, FBI, and Homeland Security are investigating. Tonight, our Verify team is looking into 3 claims about what led to today's outage. Here's Ariane Detil.
There's been a lot of confusion around the widespread cell phone outage. Using these sources, here's what we can verify. First, lots of people online claimed that the outage affected all 3 major nationwide mobile carriers, but that's false. The outage only affected AT&T customers. The company said they pinpointed a disruption in service and added that AT&T customers could still make calls using Wi-Fi during the outage. T-Mobile and Verizon confirmed their service was fine. Some of the issues reported by people on their networks were likely because they were trying to contact AT&T customers. Next, some AT&T customers may have seen an SOS status at the top of their phone. This ex-user claimed that that message prevents someone from making any calls, even to 911. But that's also false. According to Apple, an SOS message in your status means your phone isn't connected to a cellular network, but they say that won't stop you from being able to make emergency calls. And finally, another tweet said that the outage could be related to solar flares that occurred last night. But again, that's false. According to NASA, there were 2 major solar flares around midnight last night. The space agency says solar flares are powerful bursts of energy that can impact the high frequencies used to power radio communications and electric power grids, among other things. But cell phones work on a different type of frequency, which was not impacted by the flare, according to Charlotte-based meteorologist Brad Panovich and astrophysicist Dr. Ryan French with the British National Solar Observatory. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
What would you like for us to verify? Send us an email, verify@ksdk.com.
It could mean the difference between life and death for premature babies. For NICU patients, every ounce counts.
A highly anticipated trial now underway in the bi-state could change the way preemies are fed in intensive care.
Infants fed just a human milk diet are much better, have much better health outcomes.
Tonight, the I-Team uncovers the hurdles to get the donor milk they need.
Could we be talking about heat and humidity before February ends? More on a developing unsettled pattern heading into next week in 7 minutes.
A trial kicked off today in Belleville that calls into question the way premature babies are fed in NICUs across the country. The I-Team has been reporting for months on how preemies who get formula are at a higher risk for a deadly disease.
Tonight, our Christine Byers tells us how one organization is trying to get human milk into NICUs and why it's easier to get in some states.
Is that fun?
Jean Renaud became septic.
Are you the baby?
Just weeks after she gave birth to her first child.
I ended up with appendicitis and I could not nurse.
Her pediatrician recommended her newborn get breast milk for his first 6 months.
My sister had a baby she was nursing and we were able to use her milk.
Now, Jean is among thousands of women across the country who donate breast milk to organizations like the Milk Bank. Milk that attorneys now allege could mean the difference between life and death for premature babies.
You never know the circumstance of what somebody's going through where they may need it.
The Milk Bank's Mary Timmel says the nonprofit is always in need.
For NICU patients, every ounce counts.
That's because study after study the I-Team found shows premature babies who get formula made with cow's milk are more likely to get necrotizing enterocolitis, NEC for short. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates about 1 in every 10 deaths in NICUs are because of NEC. And those who survive it can be left with lifelong health complications.
The studies that have been done around pasteurized donor human milk for NICU patients are pretty clear that, infants fed just a human milk diet are much better, have much better health outcomes.
The I-Team also found hundreds of parents across the country are now suing Abbott and Mead Johnson, alleging the formula companies did not do enough to warn them about the increased risk of NEC. The first trial against Mead Johnson began Thursday in St. Clair County. The company sent us a statement which read, "Allegations from the plaintiff's lawyers are without merit and attempt to grossly oversimplify complex medical conditions with attacks not upheld by experts in the medical community." The case involves a mother whose son did not survive after going to a hospital that did not have donor milk.
I just think that's heartbreaking.
Human donor milk is not free to the hospitals that choose to use it. Formula often is. Despite the cost, one hospital in Atlanta says it saw a 77% decline in NEC cases when it started using human milk only in its NICU. The I-Team also found only 18 states include funding for donor milk, either through Medicaid and/or private insurance coverage mandates or in state budgets.
And we're always looking to have those conversations in states where we operate and even states outside of that. What does it mean to get more and more parents access to that pasteurized donor human milk covered under Medicaid if it's possible?
You want Dad to push you?
Jean says she hopes donor milk will someday be accessible for everyone.
If you could benefit from, donated human breast milk, I would hope that for every NICU baby, any PICU baby that could receive it.
The nonprofit would not say which hospitals use its products, but the Milk Bank says expectant parents should ask their hospital if they have donor milk, should they need it. For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
To find out more about how the Milk Bank screens its donors and how to donate, you can check out Christine's story under the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com. And if you have a tip for Christine and the 5 on Your Side I-Team, leave a voice message at this number, 314-444-5231, or you can send an email to tips@KSDK.com, and all calls and correspondence will be kept confidential. Back now to a story we first told you about at the top of the newscast. Tonight, parents packing the Wentzville School Board meeting.
It took place just hours after the superintendent received a cease and desist letter from Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Holden Kurwicki was there and has reaction.
Well, the Wentzville School Board meeting was once again packed with parents voicing their displeasure with the district superintendent and members of the school board. Thursday afternoon, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey sent Superintendent Danielle Tormala a cease and desist letter alleging the district and members of the board attempted to intimidate, investigate, and discipline 3 members of the school board who were whistleblowers in a September lawsuit that claims the district violated open meetings rules when discussing the district policy for bathrooms. In January, the district passed a policy by a 5-2 vote requiring students to use the bathroom of their assigned sex at birth. Now, multiple parents are voicing their frustration with the actions of the board over what they call a lack of transparency.
I would like to address Superintendent Tormala. You are not a board member. You do not have a vote, nor should you be providing your opinions in the middle of a board meeting. These are board discussions and decisions. You should not be sitting in the middle of the board during any meeting.
The Wentzville School Board did not discuss the AG's letter or that pending lawsuit during tonight's meeting. At one point, they were actually booed for failing to take up further discussion on a resident agenda item discussing board conduct. Reporting in Wentzville, Holden Krawicki, 5 on your side.
We had a great turnout tonight for our Black History Shaping St. Louis event at the Missouri History Museum. Brent Solomon and I led the discussion with a panel of Black medical professionals, educators, community activists, and religious leaders. The wisdom and contributions of the panelists to the St. Louis community will continue to move this important conversation forward.
Now, Chief Meteorologist Scott Cannell joins us with that weather first forecast and another beautiful day in St. Louis.
Gorgeous.
And the temperature's going to be almost 80 at one point next week, but a little roller coaster ride until then, Scott.
A little bit of a roller coaster, and of course, when you get that warm, if you can get some humidity in here, the potential increases for thunderstorms. That's something we'll be watching heading into next week. But boy, what a beautiful sunset around St. Louis. And have you noticed a lot of bird activity lately? With the springtime weather, the bluebirds are certainly back and making themselves known. Ray Husky shared a whole bunch of photos on our 5 on Your Side Weather Watchers Facebook group today, including this beautiful bluebird, and they are nesting around the St. Louis area now. Definitely back. The robins are back, and cardinals, you know, they just never leave. They're always here, and they look great in the snow. Share your photos with us on the 5 on Your Side Weather Watchers Facebook group. Temperatures dropping into the 50s tonight. We had the showers and storms down to our south and east. Nothing really in the metro area. We expected them mostly, as we talked to you last night, to be east and southeast of St. Louis, and that's where we saw some activity flare up here. But for the most part, the large majority of us did not see a lot of rain, and even where we did have rumbles of thunder, our rainfall amounts were not all that impressive. We could certainly use it. The drought monitor came out today, and the area of abnormally dry weather continues to expand. Plus, you have the stage 1 drought here across the eastern Ozarks, spreading back closer to Interstate 55. So we're going to be dealing with dry conditions here heading into the weekend. Our next chance for any significant rain will happen as we head into early next week. 52 right now, 68 was the high. 52 now becomes the new low for the day. This morning we only dropped to 53, and we may drop a couple more degrees before we hit midnight to go into the record books. But overnight lows under mainly clear skies, 30s to around 40, still way above average for this time of year. We start with the sunshine for tomorrow. As we progress into tomorrow afternoon, we'll watch from the north into the northeast of St. Louis. Some increase in cloud cover here. Looks like the sprinkles, spot showers will stay well to our north and northeast. And we go back close to 60 tomorrow afternoon, still in the 50s tomorrow evening. Those clouds are gone Saturday. It's a cooler day, upper 40s to lower 50s. Sunday, with more sunshine across the region, the warmth starts to return. We're climbing back to around 70 degrees. The pattern change happening as we head into early next week will bring unsettled weather back to the Midwest and also warmer temperatures. As that jet stream starts coming out of the southwest, it opens the door to warmer, more humid air. This, of course, potentially a severe weather threat for some part of the Midwest that may or may not include us as we head towards Tuesday night into Wednesday. Exactly where the greatest threats will be, what kind of threats there will be, if they will be here or somewhere else remains to be seen. So we'll time that out and pinpoint the areas of concern as we get closer. But wouldn't be surprised to see 80 degrees come Tuesday afternoon.
Amazing.
And a bit muggy, too.
All right.
Scott, thanks.
Frank is next with sports.
History at Enterprise. Nolan Arenado talking baseball. And who will be the next Cardinal Hall of Famer? We'll be right back.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
The hottest topic for the Blues is, do they trade Pavel Buchnevich at the trade deadline? After seeing his greatness tonight against the Islanders and knowing that Jordan Binnington can win a series by himself, let's keep the boys together. Zach Bolduc, take a deep breath. You're in the NHL now, and your goaltender is world class. Binner stops the breakaway, his 15th shutout tonight. Then it happened in the second. Goal number 1, power play. Oscar Sundqvist, Brandon Saad, 1-0. 7 seconds later, Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas, Buch, the first Blue to 20 goals. 25 seconds later, Thomas, Kyrou, Buch again, 3 goals in 32 seconds, a franchise record. Buch got the hat trick on the empty netter with over 10 minutes to play, and the Blues win this one 4-0.
It just happened so fast. It was kind of, yeah. I heard it was the first or fastest 3, so it was a special night. It was fun. Building was loud. Guys were playing hard, and you know, it's fun to get that. It's a big win too.
Taking flight. Card Spring Training, sponsored by Woods Basement Systems.
Nolan Arenado is likely headed to Cooperstown. 8 All-Star games and 10 Gold Gloves is pretty good. But he's only 32, and you know he has a lot of goals left. Corey Miller has more on the Cardinal, who is consumed by his craft.
Good evening from the iconic lighthouse here in Jupiter, Florida. To say 2023 was un-Cardinal-like is a severe understatement. 2024 is a new start, and the team's generational third baseman has had enough of losing.
You know, last year it just didn't sit well with anybody, and especially the whole offseason, thinking about it and how frustrating it was. So, you know, it just feels good to come into camp with a clean slate and just ready to get after it. And I feel good, I feel excited, and you know, hopefully that continues. But you know, we got a lot of work to do now. But you know, there's no doubt that we want to change the script, definitely from last year.
So, do you want to know how much Nolan Arenado thinks about baseball? Here's a snapshot. He says he sometimes catches himself practicing his swing while he's watching Disney movies with his daughter. That's the story from here in Jupiter. I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
Good work, Corey. There are 4 finalists for the Cardinals' 2024 Hall of Fame. Steve Carlton, George Hendrick, Matt Morris, and Edgar Renteria. Voting begins Saturday online. The Red Ribbon Committee will add a veteran, and the Cardinals will have an organizational pick. One of them should be Al Hrabowski. Yadier Molina is a future Hall of Famer who wants to manage in the majors. Albert Pujols will manage in the Dominican Winter League starting in September. He's 44, and some think it's a stepping stone to manage in the majors. Imagine Yadi and Albert competing for the same job one day.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
City SC will play their first MLS game against Salt Lake on Saturday. I would bet the mortgage they sell out like they do almost all the time. It got me wondering if the 22,000-seat stadium should have been built bigger.
It is so loud and so much fun. And I think that if we had gone bigger, I think you would have lost that. And I think the fact that it's easy to maneuver around it, I mean, you have 15 minutes between the 2 halves, right? And so I think it allows people to have that you know, feeling like a family, feeling like friends, closeness. I think if we had gone any bigger, I think we would have sort of destroyed that feeling. But that's again what we want.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
If you were around in 1980, you remember the moment. Underdog Team USA beat then Soviet Union 4-3 in the medal round at the Lake Placid Winter Olympics. The win galvanized the country, and the U.S. went on to win the gold medal 2 days later. I'm not sure if you were born then, but we all remember.
Maybe the greatest sports moment of our lifetime.
Absolutely. We all know where we were when that moment happened.
Right.
Really cool.
All right. Thanks.
The bi-state is about to get invaded, and these invaders will really bug you.
Just one can be as loud as a chainsaw, and soon we're going to hear and see millions of them.
Oh boy, we are talking about 13-year cicadas, which will emerge from the ground in just a matter of months. While many of us are dreading these ear-piercing bugs, experts at the Butterfly House are waiting in anticipation.
This is an incredibly exciting moment for entomologists and really anyone who appreciates biology and nature. Having millions of insects come out of the ground per acre is a pretty spectacular thing to see.
The 13-year cicada will emerge when soil temperatures hit the mid-60s.
And how soon will that be, Scott?
Well, at the rate we're going,
Right.
a little bit
Tomorrow.
sooner. It already feels like spring now. In fact, some dates for you. 17 days until we start daylight saving time. Spring equinox, 26 days away, which means St. Patrick's Day is 24 days from now. We are above average. Ground temperatures probably get into the mid-60s as we head into April. So give you an idea of when it gets buggy.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Be sure to start your day with the Today in St. Louis team. That starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.